The best VR headsets can make you forget, even if just for a moment, you're wearing a big chunk of plastic and foam on your face. It will make you feel like you're a part of a game's world, if only until you walk into your sofa. We tested dozens of models from the most popular to the most obscure, and the best VR headset is the Meta Quest 3. It's not just that it's relatively affordable, it's one of few truly new-feeling VR headsets right now. Its older sibling, however, is the best budget VR headset, the Meta Quest 2. If money is no object and you're just looking for the most high-end, best-resolution VR headset out there, the Valve Index is the closest thing to having a holodeck in your office. While we'd love to see an upgraded model out of Valve, the Index still holds up really well. If you can get it at a good discount, even better. We have listed the best VR headset 2024, and our key features you need to consider this to help you choose the best one for you. For more information on the product, as always, I've included a link in the description box down below, which are updated with the best prices on each product. Like the video, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Be sure to stay tuned till the end so you don't miss anything. Now let's get started. Number 6. HP Reverb G2. The consumer virtual reality headset market thinned a bit over the last few years. Facebook/Meta simplified its Oculus lineup to just the standalone Quest 2, and HTC focused primarily on professional use with its Vive Pro and Vive Focus lines. Microsoft's Windows mixed reality platform has seen a soft culling, too, and currently HP is the only company besides HTC that offers a consumer headset for it. The HP Reverb G2 is a simple, accessible VR headset that's similar to the first Reverb we tested in 2019. The headset's motion controllers feel much better than its predecessors, and it all works with Steam far more reliably. At $599.99, the G2 is less expensive than the $999 Valve Index, our editor's choice pick for tethered VR headsets, or the $799 HTC Vive Pro 2, though those headsets feature technical benefits that the Reverb lacks. Meanwhile, the $299.99 Oculus Quest 2, our overall editor's choice pick for VR headsets, undercuts the G2's price by half and functions as a standalone headset that doesn't require a connected PC. The HP Reverb G2 is a good headset on its own and better than HTC's aging, consumer-level $699.99 Vive Cosmos headset. Still, it's wedged between great competition. The Reverb G2 shares a general shape with the original Reverb, but with welcome upgrades in terms of comfort and motion tracking. The all-black headset has a smooth plastic visor with 2 forward-facing cameras on the front panel. They're joined by a pair of cameras on the sides, which is an upgrade from the original Reverb. That said, it's not as camera-laden as the 6-lens HTC Vive Cosmos. Like all Windows mixed reality headsets, the Reverb G2 relies entirely on these cameras to track its position and doesn't use external sensors or beacons like the Valve Index. A slider on the visor's bottom adjusts pupillary distance (PT). The front panel is no longer covered with fabric, but the Reverb G2 still has more overall cloth in its build than the first Reverb. The face mask is generously lined with memory foam covered in soft, smooth gray cloth, with matching padding across the plastic rear strap. The harness is otherwise similar, using a 3-point design with an elastic strap over the top of the head, and Velcro strips for setting a comfortable, snug fit across all 3 points. The face mask easily pops off, so it should be easy to clean if it gets sweaty, though with its plastic mount, it isn't machine washable. A pair of speaker drivers covered in black metal grills sit mounted on small arms on the headband's sides, and they pivot down to sit a short distance from your ears. The headset doesn't have any other audio options, such as a headphone jack or alternate headphones. Removing the face mask reveals a recessed port above the left lens where the nearly 20-foot cable plugs into the headset. The cable is angled to extend from the headset's side, and a loop on the back headband keeps it from dangling over the left speaker. The cable runs into a permanently attached plastic box from which 2 wires terminating in USB-C and DisplayPort plugs extend. To aid connectivity, the Reverb G2 comes with DisplayPort to Mini DisplayPort and USB-C to USB adapters. Number 5. HTC Vive Pro 2. Despite my qualms about tripping over cords, PC-tethered VR is still going strong, as seen in the excellent Valve Index. Before the Index, though, Valve partnered with HTC to produce the first Vive VR headset to work with the Steam VR platform. The two companies parted ways on VR development, with HTC vying for much more enterprise and development attention with its Focus and Pro Eye headsets, while Valve released the Grip Sensing Index. HTC isn't out of the consumer VR game, however, with its middling but functional Vive Cosmos headset and its new Vive Pro 2. Despite its name, the Vive Pro 2 is intended for both professional VR and consumers, offering the same Steam VR compatibility as the Valve Index along with HTC's own Viveport ecosystem. On one hand, it offers some of the highest resolution and cleanest visuals we've seen in a consumer-available VR headset. On the other hand, it's by far the priciest at $799 for only the headset, requiring a sizable extra spend for the base stations and controllers it needs to work. The Vive Pro 2 headset looks like a darker version of the Vive Pro and not too dissimilar from the Vive Cosmos. It's black rather than blue, but otherwise shares a nearly identical design. The front panel combines the original Vive's nubbly points, which the base stations use to track position, with the Vive Cosmos front-facing stereo cameras, which the headset uses to track surroundings. The headset section can be pushed forward or backward against the face mask part with the press of a button on the lower left corner, letting you adjust the distance between the lenses and your eyes to improve focus. A knob on the front panel's lower right area lets you tweak pupillary distance, how far apart the lenses are horizontally, to best align with how far apart your eyes are. The head harness features the same design as the Vive Pro, a three-point system with wide plastic arms on the sides and a wide strap on the top. The back of the harness is heavily padded and features a dial for tightening that section against the sidearms, while the top strap can be manually adjusted with Velcro fasteners. A pair of on-ear headphones are built into the headset, connected to the harness sides by their own plastic arms. The arms rotate forward and backward to align the ear cups with your ears and flip in and out to let you listen to your surroundings. The left ear cup has a volume rocker on the back edge, and the right ear cup has a mic mute button. The microphone is built into the front section of the headset, not the ear cups. The headphones can be removed and replaced, but there is no headphone jack to simply use your own. Number 4. Pico 4. Powered by the same Snapdragon XR2 processor as the Meta Quest 2, the Pico 4 is an incredible contender for the entry-level VR throne. There's so much to like here, with every spec seeming to one-up its main competitor and for less cash. Though, inevitably, there's a catch for would-be Pico 4 users on the US side: availability. In the UK, you can get hold of the Pico 4 for £380, 20 monies less than the new Quest 2 price tag. The 256GB version sits closer to Meta's higher-tier offering at £430. Compare that to the similarly spec'd mid-range HP Reverb G2 going for £655 even today, and it becomes abundantly clear that the standards are shifting in the VR space. You could get so much more for your money than Apple would probably have you believe, as ByteDance proves with the stunning Pico 4. The major drawback for most of our readers is that the Pico 4 isn't available to US users. Any Amazon listings you might see will sit at around $800, often with another $100 on top for international shipping. I would not recommend my North American friends pay that much for the Pico 4, but for those countries with availability, put on your bibs because ByteDance is serving pancakes. That's pancake lenses, to be precise, the inedible kind. This lens tech involves folding together loads of lenses in a curved shape for some light-based magic, and frees up some processing power as the headset doesn't then have to digitally fix the distortion you find within standard Fresnel lenses. Granted, it does mean a smaller field of view, and I'm more than happy to forfeit a little peripheral vision for the privilege. Couple such a technological marvel with that 4320x2160 resolution, and Pico 4 has the best visuals of any entry-level headset I've checked out. Compared to the Meta Quest 2's Fresnel lenses, those pancakes taste pretty sweet. Along with a much less prominent screen door effect, meaning the pixel grid can't be seen easily when you press your eyeballs against the glass, it's also less prone to chromatic aberration and costing issues. Essentially, it's a much sharper, clearer viewing experience, especially when it comes to menus and the like. Number 3. Meta Quest Pro. Meta has a lot of questions to answer about the future of the metaverse. How can avatars become more convincing and helpful than cartoon-like costumes? Will anyone ever want to get all their work done in a VR headset? And how can all our everyday work apps interface with whatever Meta's metaverse dreams are promising? Despite seeming like it could, the new $1,500 Quest Pro VR headset, $2,2,550, £1,500, which I've been using at home for the last couple of days, doesn't answer those questions. It should be a tool to figure out how to get to some of those answers. But for almost anyone looking for a new VR headset to buy, I'd get a Quest 2 instead, or wait. The Quest Pro's biggest features, eye and face tracking, improved mixed reality that can layer VR with color video from its pass-through cameras, controllers with better haptics, and a nicer display and face fit, aren't worth the $1,100 price bump for most people. And with its limited battery life, the Quest Pro hasn't solved a way to stay on your head longer between charges. but I'm writing my review with the headset right now, using Immerse to cast my MacBook's virtual monitors onto the Quest Pro. My desk, for the moment, is virtual. Quick verdict, it's a bit better now, but still not ideal. The Quest Pro is clearly a pro device. Anyone who was considering a Quest 2 for business or research purposes might find the Pro an immensely helpful bridge device. It's also set up to be a device that could adopt most of what the HoloLens 2 or Magic Leap 2 Air headsets promise while still functioning as a full VR headset. It could become a tool for VR performers using face tracking or for people looking for a headset that can do simulation and design with some AR mixed in. But most people use VR for games. The Quest 2 is a casual entertainment thing, and at $400, it can play that role. But the Quest Pro's $1,500 price means it's not an everyday purchase. It's a device clearly aimed at developers and businesses and early adopters with money to burn. Number 2. PlayStation VR 2. The PSVR 2 is going to suffer from severe sticker shock. On top of having to own a £5, the headset costs $550. I'm mentioning this upfront because that's likely to turn a lot of people off before I even get to the perks of the system. But if you can bring yourself to spend more on an accessory than the console itself, there's a lot to love here. Sony's new headset is a massive improvement over its predecessor in almost every way. Gone are the external camera and processor boxes. Now you can just plug the headset directly into the front of your PlayStation 5. The old Move controllers, which were initially designed to compete with Nintendo's Wiimotes, have also been upgraded to more robust Sense controllers. It can even track your eye movements inside the headset itself. The specs are also a vast improvement over its predecessor. Where the original PSVR had two 960 x 1080 pixel resolution displays, one for each eye, the PSVR 2 bumps this up to 2000 x 2040. With more than twice as much detail, this is slightly better than the Meta Quest 2. They also support HDR, giving it one of the more vivid displays I've seen on a headset, especially at this price. In short, it's one of the best VR headsets you can get right now. Does that make it worth it? A new kind of comfort. One of the most significant hurdles to VR adoption is making a giant piece of tech that can sit on your face without being uncomfortable. Conventional wisdom is that the best way to do that would be to make them smaller. In an Iron Man-esque fantasy world, a simple pair of glasses would be ideal, but Sony has taken a different route, and for the better. The headset itself is fairly bulky but not heavy per se. The lens module can slide forward or back along the track, and the headband is sturdy enough to sit on your head and distribute its weight. On the rear, there's a large dial that can be used to tighten the headband to your comfort. Compared to the Meta Quest 2, even using its upgraded strap that really should be standard, the PSVR 2 is much more comfortable. Despite its added bulk, I found the PSVR 2 to be much easier to wear for extended periods of time than, say, the Meta Quest 2. While it left an obvious red mark on my forehead, it wasn't as painful. This is in part because it doesn't press quite as much on the sinuses, but also because the headset distributed weight more evenly around my head. I still wouldn't want to wear it for several hours, but I was able to play for an hour or two without major discomfort. In this case, bigger was definitely better. Number 1. Meta Quest 2. When it launched, the Meta Quest 2 brought VR to the masses in an affordable standalone headset. It may no longer be the best VR headset we've ever tested. That title belongs to the Meta Quest 3, with Apple Vision Pro in a close second. But even now, this remains a great entry-level headset if you want to get into the world of virtual reality. This comes down to several key things. First, Quest's signature standalone design forms a relatively slim profile and feels lightweight on your head. Second, there is an ocean of games and apps you can enjoy without needing to be tethered to any device. Many of the best VR games are exclusive to the Meta Store. Either that, or you can make the most of Steam VR games with the Oculus Link cable. And third, Meta continues to update it with new features. Most recently, travel mode came to the headset, which makes any long-distance trip fly by. The Quest 2 isn't perfect. Controllers that rely on AA batteries are at the top of our list of gripes. And while it's one of the most versatile gaming headsets, it's not the most graphically superior. But in the end, we are still convinced it's one of the best VR headsets for most people. So read on to see why this headset is still one of the best options for getting into VR typically. The Meta Quest 2 starts at $249 in the US and £269 in the UK for the 128GB unit. And with the Quest 3 now in the top Quest headset, Meta has made the Quest 2 the entry-level model of a larger VR headset lineup and is pricing it accordingly. This pricing brings the Quest 2 back to its launch price. It's gone through a couple of changes. At one point, Meta increased the price of the Quest 2 to $399/£399 for the 128GB headset, but not long after had to regularly discount the headset or bundle it with games.